Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the newest edition of Raw Review. Before we get started, there are a couple things. There are some news. First, Big Show was supposed to return tonight. He did. Second, Nikki Bella's injury has been revealed. It was a stress fracture in her foot. And, Chris Jericho. He was not on Raw, and he's not going to be on Raw for maybe a couple weeks, maybe even a couple months. Why? He's going on tour with his band Fozzy again. So after last SmackDown, where he went up against whoever he went up against, and Ryback beat him up, I guess they're going to play that off as an injury. It's not an injury. He's going on tour with Fozzy. He's going to be out. He's going to be gone for a couple weeks. So, I mean, I don't know if it's permanent gone or what, but it says he's done with WWE for now. Off of WWE news, TNA has been going south instead of north. They got money problems. They had to cancel their latest show on the 20th. So here's what they did. They actually had people who went there. They refunded their tickets, refunded their money, and let them go all backstage and meet the superstars, get free autographs, except for one douchebag of the crowd. I have respect for this superstar, and now I don't. That man is Jeff Hardy. He was charging $20 for autographs and photos of him with the fans. You, Jeff Hardy. Oh yeah. Tonight's Raw was in Austin, Texas. I'm not a Texas guy, but my name is Austin. I'm sure you guys could all see now. I got my YouTube name changed. But if you guys can think of something better, I would love to hear it. Just post it, and I'll consider it. We started out the night with Brad Maddox, and it was a contract signing for the WWE Championship. Basically, this whole thing was Brad Maddox talking about how Daniel Bryan was a weakling, and how he can't do anything right, how Bryan is a bad person to be WWE champion, that Bryan shouldn't be in the company, and this whole thing is just a story. It's just a storyline type thing, because Vince McMahon actually loves Daniel Bryan. He loves the fact that Daniel Bryan brings in ratings and all that. It's just what they wanted to do. They're probably going to start this whole John Cena versus Daniel Bryan with the Bella Twins next week, since Total Divas airs Sunday. And don't forget, after Raw next week, we can all watch Total Divas that we missed from the previous Sunday on the USA Network immediately after Raw. So, there's that for you. Cena says that that the WWE title was about strength and weight and all that he just basically said, well, if that's what it's about, there you go, and tossed the title to Brad Maddox. They both signed a contract, and that was that. I mean, Brad Maddox kind of interrupted him and mentioned that Daniel Bryan would be in multiple matches. And he had multiple matches, and it was unfortunately the main event, but it was still pretty good. We had Sheamus versus Alberto Del Rio. Now, at Money in the Bank, which I did watch Money in the Bank, it was really good. We had at Money in the Bank. Sheamus was in the WWE All Stars Money in the Bank ladder match. Well, at one point, Sheamus put his ladder on the announce table and the ring apron, kind of like how he did a couple years ago whenever he powerbombed Sin Cara through a ladder. Well, the same thing basically happened, and at one point he was knocked off the apron and he fell through the ladder, and then they're saying that caused the big bruise on the side of his leg. He didn't land on his side, he landed on his back. The part I could see where this bruise happened on his leg was whenever he was up there hanging from the ladder, or from the briefcase, and he fell off and he hit the side of the ladder. That I could understand, but not him being knocked and where the ladder broke. Not that part. But they had Sheamus versus Alberto Del Rio. The match ended when Sheamus went for white noise, and basically he was too weak to do it. And Alberto Del Rio kind of rolls him up and kind of holds his injured leg and gets a 1, 2, 3. So Del Rio was your winner. And then you had your interview with Ted Long and Booker T, talking about who should be the real general manager of SmackDown. But like Vince said, Vicky Guerrero is the permanent general manager of SmackDown. And I don't know how long that's actually going to last, but usually when you get a new GM, it lasts a couple months. AJ was the GM, and that lasted a couple months. I actually kind of liked AJ as GM. At one point, they start to argue, and Teddy Long says, when she was appointed GM, I was actually kicked out. So, come on. And then you had Christian versus Titus O'Neil. This was a match of Titus just basically showing off his strength. This guy's a scary dude when it comes to strength now. And Christian actually won this by using the kill switch. Ryback was then interviewed, and he was talking about the whole law of the jungle, about how the weakest man, or how the weakest animal isn't the best animal, the strongest animal will always dominate. I don't know much about the law of the jungle, but I do know that I want to say that they do, that my favorite animal lives in the jungle, and that would be a tiger. Tigers to me are just awesome. Especially Siberian tigers, the white and black ones. But it was a crappy interview. I'm sorry. That's what this interview was just crap. Then you had Henry come out and say he was proud to be born and raised in Texas. And his WWE title match, he was actually proud of himself for as long as he lasted against John Cena. And then he calls out the Shield. He says, "You guys wanna fight someone? You guys wanna fight me? Well, you guys see where I'm at? Come and get me." So they came. You call out the Shield comes. So they came out. They surrounded the ring. Mark Henry stood his ground for a good bit, and then after he got cornered and started being triple teamed, the Usos come out, and they basically save Mark Henry. After Roman Reigns gets beat up pretty good, he got double super kicked, he got squashed in the turnbuckle, he's probably about to get world strongest slammed, but then as he's like near one of the ropes, he gets pulled out and then sent back with the Shield, and then they kind of ran off. Not the same way they usually do. They went through the timekeeper's area. Bryan was seen warming up, and John Cena enters, and he thinks Maddox isn't making his own decisions. He says, I don't think he's making his own decisions. I think there's someone basically telling him what to say, what to do, and he's doing it like a little pet. Now, that actually seemed like it was true at the end of Raw, and we'll get into that when we get near the end of Raw. And Bryan said, "I'm doing what you would do. You wouldn't back down for a challenge. I'm not backing down for a challenge. But I'm doing exactly what you would do, Cena. I gotta show to you and everyone else that I deserve this title match, because everyone's questioning the fact that you picked me and if I really deserve it. I don't think that I'm not questioning him. He deserves it. He beat Randy Orton several times. He's been tag team champion, world heavyweight champion, United States champion. Daniel Bryan he's been Money in the Bank to become world heavyweight champion. Yeah, he lost at WrestleMania in 18 seconds, but everyone has their bad days. And Bryan is a great roast on the mic, in the ring, probably outside the ring. Heck, he's dating Brie Bella. He's dating one of the hottest divas. Cena's got Nikki Bella. So, what can I say? He also told John Cena not to interfere in the match, and he says, if you interfere, it'll prove that what you said out there in the ring was a load of crap. So, then they went on to their match, which was Darren Young versus Dolph Ziggler, and Dolph Ziggler won this by zigzag. And after the match, Biggie Langston comes in, and he tries to attack Dolph Ziggler, but as Dolph Ziggler is celebrating, he kind of turns around and he sees Biggie Langston, and he did a really good job against Biggie Langston. At one point, Biggie Langston is going for like a clothesline, and he just kind of takes him and just throws him completely over the top rope, like it was nothing, like he was a piece of paper. And then what does Biggie Langston do? He lands and runs back in, and Dolph Ziggler runs back out and kind of goes up the ring, or up the ramp, and toodaloo. Then they had Miz TV, which is basically like your new cutting edge, and they just talked, and it was just about the Total Divas that airs Sunday. They introduced the cast. They introduced the two noobs, a girl named Eva, Eva Marie, and a girl named JoJo. And Eva Marie is actually with Fandango, and JoJo is with who's she with? JoJo's with one of the Usos. Then you got the Funkadactyls, which I think one is with another Uso, and one is with some, I guess, a basketball player or something like that, a guy who's not even in the WWE. So there's that. And they during this, Miz actually calls Jerry the King Lawler to come up to MC this whole Miz TV with the Divas, because he was like, oh, puppies, puppies, back in the old days, but he can't do that now because we're in the PG era. So, you had the King come in and basically introduce himself. He's like, hi, I'm Jerry the King Lawler. I know the Bella Twins. I know Natalia. We go way back. I know the Funkadactyls. I just don't know you and you. And he points to JoJo and Eve and Eva. And JoJo has a big smile on her face. Shakes his hand, says hi, sits back down. Eva Maria says, I see the way you're looking at me, and slaps him. This is Fandango's girlfriend, the one with the bright red hair. If I was down the road and she walked down the middle of the road, I would probably stop, because I would think it was a stop light or something like that, and the light would actually be green. But that's how red her hair basically is. You could basically have her as a stoplight, or as a stop sign in one. That's right, making fun of you. Dancing with dating a dancing buffoon. Give me a freaking break. Okay, and then you have Maddox on the phone again. I guess he's like talking to his mom or something. Heck, I have a manager who does that actually during work. His mommy calls him and says, hey, are you still working? Oh yeah, I'm still working. He's a manager. Let the kid work. I actually like this manager too, so that's completely off topic. We're talking about wrestling. I'm not talking about my work. I'm not talking about your work. I'm talking about what we all like to watch, which is Raw, which is WWE in general. Because apparently TNA is going, I guess, bankrupt. And if that's the case, expect to see them come to WWE, and because WWE is already interested in Matt Morgan, who's released, and they're doing all these things to save money, like getting rid of Tara, getting rid of Madison Rayne. Probably the only smartest guy in TNA right now is probably Eric Young. I mean, because I'm sure right now that all the TNA superstars are running on food stamps. What's Eric Young doing? He's out catching his own food. Yeah, it might be fish every night, but he's out catching his own food. Now, if they do indeed go bankrupt, we could be seeing a lot of new guys coming into Raw. A lot of new guys. They would have to get used to the new talent. They would have to basically make room for all these superstars. But Vince McMahon's got money. You want some money, you might as well go get it from him. WrestleMania. Just all these people wanting to sponsor WWE. All these people wanting to buy WWE shows, channels, and all this. There is something I do want to talk to you guys about. I want your take on it. Whether it's a good idea or a bad idea. But after the show, I should have done this before the show. After the show, we'll talk about this. Okay. But like I said, Maddox is on the phone, and out comes Triple H. And Triple H asks Brad about Daniel Bryan, and and even says he likes Daniel Bryan, and Bryan will walk over anything and do anything he needs to do to get what he wants, and that's the truth. Bryan will do anything. Then Stephanie enters and says they'll speak about a couple of ideas that they have about what she has later, but I'm thinking that that's going to bring up the whole Bellas feud, the whole Bellas with Bryan and Cena feud. That's going to be building up for Summerslam. That's what I think her idea is. Let's see here. What else is there? We had Fandango versus Rhodes. Now, before I do talk about this match, there was no Wyatt family tonight. I don't know why. There was no Wyatt family tonight, and they could have done something with them to make this Raw just a little bit more better. But since we're going to be talking about Cody Rhodes, I'm going to talk about this rivalry he's having now. I thought that this rivalry was not going to be as good as it actually is. I underestimated it. Cody Rhodes and Damien Sandow are doing a fantastic job right now. I am liking this rivalry. I didn't think it was going to be that good, but it is great. Rhodes, after this, if he does not get some kind of title shot and win, if he's not some kind of champion, like either before or after this is all over, then I don't know what WWE's thinking, because it's ridiculous the fact that Rhodes has not gotten something yet. I mean, yeah, he's gotten tag team titles, intercontinental titles, but he needs a world title. But we had Fandango versus Cody Rhodes, and Damien Sandow, after the commercial, just having me on commentary. Well, near the end of the match, Cody Rhodes went up for what I'm going to call the new BME, the best moonsault ever. He went up for the BME, and if you watch this match closely, okay, this is one of those matches I would suggest you watch just to look at the botch of this part right here. Cody Rhodes did everything right. This was all Fandango's fault right now. Cody Rhodes basically knocks Fandango down, and he's starting to get up, and then he realizes, oh crap, I shouldn't be this far out. And you can kind of see him run forward real quick, slide, and as Cody Rhodes is doing his moonsault, he kind of falls down with him. It was a mistake on Fandango's part, because Fandango actually got up, runs over there, and kind of just slides. No, oh no, you landed on me. Fandango, you messed up there, buddy. I'm willing to bet you're either going to be losing over the next couple weeks, or maybe even get punished for it. Because, to be honest with you, Cody Rhodes looks like he tweaked his knee on that, but who knows. But it was a botch. Sandow did distract Cody Rhodes, and during this distraction, Cody Rhodes actually sees it, takes Fandango, and kind of throws him into them. Fandango stops himself, and Cody Rhodes runs and does the disaster kick, knocks Sandow off the apron, and he hit Fandango. He grabs Fandango and picks him up, and then does a crossroads, and then gets the 1, 2, 3 to win the match. But yes, there was a botch. This is a botch I would recommend you guys go watch. And you never know. It could be in the next. It could be one of the newest episodes of Botch Mania. I don't watch it. I haven't really watched any of them, but Botch Mania is where it's a bunch of mistakes. Kind of like there's one that was actually really funny, where I remember this like it was yesterday. I think he was going up against like either Stone Cold or Triple H or something like that. I'm not sure who his opponent was, but The Rock actually took a chair and he was swinging it, and he kind of cleared out the whole whole ring. And he was taking a chair one time and he was swinging it to kind of scare him, and the chair actually hit the ropes, bounced back, and he hit himself in the face. That, to be honest with you guys, was actually not supposed to happen. And when he did that, he actually busted himself open. So they had to cut it there and then go to a commercial after that. Your next segment was actually the CM Punk segment. And he talks about getting beat up by Brock Lesnar the previous week and how he feels like that he got hit by a car. Now, this whole thing led to him saying that he wants a match against Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. Paul Heyman comes via satellite and accepts the match, as Brock Lesnar was apparently working out. And they talk about how the headline is going to be the best versus the Beast. Yeah, the best versus the Beast. And Heyman basically just rips Texans apart. He says Texans are carnivores, they're criminals, everything about them is just wrong and all this. But like I said, Heyman does accept the challenge, and Punk is livid. He wants to get his hands on Brock Lesnar. Now, at the rate this is going, it might be looking like that Punk will get the first win. Brock Lesnar, I don't know, as of right now, might even get the second, and who knows about the third. But if you remember his last rivalry, which was against Triple H, Brock Lesnar got the first against Triple H at SummerSlam, and then you had WrestleMania, which Triple H got the win, and then you had Extreme Rules, which Brock Lesnar got the win. So it was 1, and then it was 1-0, then it was 1-1, and then it was 2-1 in favor of Brock Lesnar. This one I'm thinking is going to be in favor of CM Punk, but who knows. And then we had a match with a guy in it that we love. We had Wade Barrett going one-on-one with Rob Van Dam. Now, the way I could see this building up for Rob Van Dam at first is him being like the Intercontinental Champion, not as much United States Champion, because they're doing some pretty good stuff with the Shield. But Dean Ambrose, he is a good United States Champion, but he hasn't really done much with it recently. RVD needs a title. Put a title on this guy. He deserves it. Now, when will RVD be taking a break like Jericho? I don't know, but his contract is just like Jericho's. If he needs time off, he gets it. Like Jericho's going to go on tour with Fozzy. There's your time off, he gets it. And now is your match before your main event. And that match was actually pretty good. Rob Van Dam did win this match by a 5-star frog splash. There was no scooting over to get in the way, to get under the guy. Rob Van Dam knocked Wade Barrett on his butt where he needed to. Barrett stayed, and RVD basically turned himself in midair to get a perfect 5-star frog splash and get the 1, 2, 3. You're not going to have a guy who's this big right now make his return, not win at Money in the Bank, but then not win on Raw. I mean, come on. he won on Raw, he won on SmackDown, and then he won again on Raw. So RVD, who had this huge pop from the crowd on ECW, or not ECW, in Philadelphia, where Money in the Bank was held, the roof exploded. Okay, and RVD is one of those guys who was lucky that he got out when he did. He's probably another one of those lucky. He's probably another one of the smart guys because he probably saw where TNA was going. He couldn't negotiate a contract that he wanted with TNA, so that's one reason why he left. But he got out when he could because he could also see where TNA was going. And this is where TNA is going now. They're having to cancel their shows and all this. But at Destination X, which was televised, which was apparently Impact Wrestling, I would make your pay-per-views, and keeping those pay-per-views. That way you can make some money. That way people can see, hey, Chris Sabin's the new world heavyweight champion. If you're going to make a pay-per-view, keep it as a pay-per-view. Stop showing lockdown pay-per-view stuff. That was back in March. I'm still getting lockdown pay-per-view, like encore presentations of Lockdown. It was not that good of a pay-per-view. Okay? WrestleMania was that good of a pay-per-view. Lockdown was not. I mean, jeez. If you want to promote a pay-per-view that much, why don't you just send it to me in the mail? Anyway, you had your Daniel Bryan match, which was against multiple guys. It wasn't up against one. It wasn't up against two. Was it up against 3 or 4? We'll find out. His first match was against Jack Swagger. We the people. And Jack Swagger didn't last long. Daniel Bryan, the first reversal Daniel Bryan did, basically, he got the no lock locked in, or the yes lock, whatever it's called now, and basically got Swagger to tap out immediately. Then you had Bryan versus Antonio Cesaro. Well, after the match, A-Rye, who we haven't seen in, I don't know, so freaking long, was actually out there, was in Brad Maddox's office, and says that Daniel Bryan was actually impressive. And Maddox says, well, let's see how he does against this next guy, who is guy number 3. And out comes Ryback. I was kind of hoping it would be Big Show, but it was Ryback. It was advertised that Big Show was supposed to make his return, and he didn't, so fans might not be too happy about that. Bryan won this by disqualification. Where was the disqualification? It's kind of like when Jericho debuted. When Jericho debuted, he went up against Road Dogg, and he put Road Dogg through a table. Well, Ryback put Daniel Bryan through a table, got disqualified, and basically that led to them making matches for next week. It's going to be John Cena versus Ryback in the tables match, and after the match, Vince McMahon says, I want to see the aggressiveness, the insaneness of Daniel Bryan. That makes Daniel Bryan versus Kane, because Vince McMahon suggested a friend or some kind of mortal enemy, and Brad Maddox is like, you're thinking about Kane. So Kane is returning next week. I hope this is Kane and not some guy like they did with Abyss on TNA a couple months back, where they had some guy dressed up as Abyss come out and beat up Daniel Bryan and then like lose. I hope this is Glenn Jacobs Kane. Now they suggested this, and we're getting it. We're getting Daniel Bryan versus Kane. We're getting Ryback versus John Cena tables match next week. Now, here's what I want to talk to you guys about. WWE had that tragedy happen years ago. I'm sure you guys all know who it is. I'm talking about Chris Benoit and his family. If you guys don't remember the pay-per-view, it was actually there was here's what happened. Chris Benoit was supposed to do a pay-per-view at Vengeance. I guess it was like the first Vengeance Night of Champions. And this is back when the ECW title was there. Well, apparently, when the ECW one showed up, it was the triple threat match, like CM Punk, Chris Benoit, and someone else. Well, Chris Benoit didn't show up, so they had to replace him. Turns out, the reason Chris Benoit didn't show up was because he was in Atlanta, he killed his wife, I think he smothered his son, and then I think he hung himself. Well, that was named the biggest tragedy in WWE history. Now, apparently, they're going to be making a Chris Benoit movie that talks about Chris Benoit and that talks about his family tragedy. My problem with this is you need to make up your mind. Either you like him or you don't, okay? And another thing is, if you're going to do this, keep him in your WWE filmings that actually has him either in the background or that's supposed to involve him. Because there's some that they did of the WWE programmings where he was actually in the background, but what they did was they put this like cloudy figure around him, and any of his speaking parts he had, they just basically cut it out and went back to the guy and went to the next guy. That's how much they wanted nothing to do with Chris Benoit. But now they're making this whole Chris Benoit like a family tragedy or something like that, and this is named the biggest tragedy in WWE history. Okay? If you're going to do this, I would make sure that your fans approve of this and appreciate this. Because this is a stupid idea. It's a bad idea. You would piss so many people off. The fact that you talked bad about the guy, about how he was about basically how he was nothing in the WWE when he was there, and people say that if he was still here, do we think he would be a champion right now? No. He was too old to be a champion at this time. At this time, if he was still alive, if he was still around, he would probably be like a trainer or something, or one of those guys, kind of like Triple H, just be like an associate or something like that, and be something to do with WWE. But then again, you never know. He could have retired and lived with his family, and just had his WWE checks come in almost every week from retirement. But this is a bad idea of making a Chris Benoit movie. I like the guy. The guy was good, but this whole thing where you don't have him in your WWE films, where you blur him out, where you skip over his stuff, is just stupid. Either you need to decide this now that you want to do this movie and keep him in your WWE films things. Like I think there was one of like Eddie Guerrero where he was in a match against him, or yeah, in a match, and Chris Benoit just happened to be with him. They blurred him out. Either you need to take that blur off and accept Chris Benoit for what he was, and just basically, I don't know how you can look over the whole thing that he did. Either look over that and just act like it didn't even happen, or you need to cancel this stupid idea and just forget about it. But that's enough of that. That was my rant for the day. Today is the 22nd, ladies and gentlemen. SmackDown is the 26th. I'm not going to be here. It's that simple. I'm out of town. I am off that day. I am off tomorrow. I come back the 27th. So what I might do is watch SmackDown, take some notes, and then bring you guys SmackDown for the first time in several months. So I think like maybe 3 or 4 months. But it's going to be a special SmackDown because because it's going to be the return of the SmackDown rebound. Now, I almost did forget to do Money in the Bank. That's not going to happen. I will do SmackDown. I will do SummerSlam. I will do all of it. I will do every pay-per-view. I almost forgot to do the Money in the Bank one, but it's just how work is. But I'm sure you guys know, because work. I'm sure you guys do that too. We all gotta make the money somehow. But that will do it for this edition of Raw Review. I will definitely see you guys Saturday, the 27th. Yes, the 27th for the SmackDown rebound. And I will see you guys sometime in August. What day in August? Like, I think August 9th. It depends on where that week I'm off, because I think SummerSlam is the 11th. I'll have to check that out. But sometime in August, I will see, before SummerSlam that is, I will see you guys for the SummerSlam prediction night. Thank you guys. I want your opinion on this video, this whole Chris Benoit thing, this whole TNA situation, and Jeff Hardy, who can go suck on that. But that's just me. Put your comments below, and I will see you guys later.